Good afternoon, everyone. My name is McMallory Robert. I am 35 years old. I have 3 children. My son is 17, and I have 2 daughters, which are 13 and 12. I've been married to my husband since July of 2016. I am currently employed at Caliber Financial. I am a workforce analyst. I've been in this position for 14 months, but I have been with the company 5 years this April. Now, back to our discussion, it asks what my definition of compensation is. Now, when you think of compensation, normally someone automatically thinks you're being given something for a loss, which is the legal standpoint of it, such as you get into a car wreck. The insurance company provides you with a monetary payment to either purchase a new vehicle or to repair the one that had the damage. So you are being compensated for your loss or injury if you have to go to the doctor. Now, when looking at compensation from a business standpoint, this is where you are being provided a hourly or salary rate to complete a job that you stated you knew how to do and per your prior experience have shown you have done it well. Or you were just fresh out of the gate, like my son, and getting your first time job. They are taking you on to show you the ropes. So you're being compensated with an hourly rate and potentially a benefit package. These are some of the things when employees hear compensation. They want to know what the compensation and the benefit package is. My employer, we have gone to the lengths of, here recently, we just provided all of our agents, which I am over 120 agents now, so we just hired 8 more. I am over 120 agent schedules, the daily optimization of all of those agents, making sure everything's where it needs to be on a daily standpoint. Now, with that being said, I go through and looking from an employee standpoint when it comes to compensation and the benefit package, our employer provides the agents now with a certain amount per hour, but we also give them we call it a premium because of our payroll system, but we call it a premium, which is a shift differential. If you work past 6 p.m. to 11 p.m., you get $2 more an hour. If you work Saturday or Sunday, you receive $2 more per hour for the 8 hours or more that you work. Even if you were to volunteer on a weekend, you are getting your normal rate plus the shift differential for offering your time. As well as our benefit package also provides you with free medical, dental, and vision for the employees only. That is how we benefit our employees, because a lot of employees that we have just need insurance on them because their spouse carries themselves or their children. But we also do make it out to where if you do have to cover your children on your insurance, we have it made out to where you're not spending an arm and a leg. Now, with that being the case, and our next question asking from an employee standpoint of which one they find more valuable, whether it be a return, a reward, or entitlement. In all honesty, entitlement to me is just depending on the person. The reason I say that is every employer has someone who thinks that they're entitled to anything and everything, regardless. I have a couple of those that work for me. Anytime they don't get something they want, they threaten to go over our heads and go to our shareholders because of who our shareholders are and how they're related to her. But that's not here nor there. That's a different conversation for another day. But again, entitlement, I believe, depends on the individual themselves. When it comes to reward and return, that again depends on the employee. Me personally, looking back when I was a lending agent as well as a special operations supervisor, I would have to say reward. The reason I say reward is because reward comes in multiple forms. It could be a gift card. It could be an extra break. Our company did extra breaks and snacks when you got a reward for the first time. The second time, you received gift cards anywhere from $25 to $100. We are now offering anyone who's volunteering to work overtime, we are offering them for every 4 hours worked, a $25 gift card, plus the $2 extra an hour on the weekends, and an additional day off. So that in itself is a reward for volunteering their time. And that extra day off can be used anywhere within the calendar year. So if you work overtime in January, that extra day off will last all the way until December 31st. So they're being rewarded for volunteering their time. Now, when it comes to return from an employee standpoint, every employee wants to feel like they matter. So the return is going through and pushing them into certain training aspects and helping them reach their ultimate goal, as well as reaching the goal for the organization. So it all boils down from an employee standpoint. Each employee is going to have a different view: return, reward, entitlement. But for me, I would honestly say reward, because every employee wants to feel appreciated. Even a simple little certificate saying Employee of the Month, they're being recognized. They're getting a reward for their performance for that specific time or for reaching a goal they set. Reward makes them feel like they matter. They have a voice. They're being recognized. That's my honest opinion from an employee standpoint would be reward. Now, when I compare my ideas with someone with more experience from another country or another field of study, I can answer two of those questions in one answer. But for the first one, comparing my ideas with someone with more experience, I actually asked my HR director right now. Her reply to those questions, if I remember correctly, her definition of compensation was mainly what mine was. You're being rewarded for completing a task that you were hired to do, but you're also being compensated for your time, energy, and dedication. That was her reply. But when it came to the entitlement, reward, and return, she honestly thought that an employee is more worried about the return. The reason she said she was more worried, or she was leaning more towards the return as an employee viewpoint, is because they want to return. They want to see a return on what they do. In other words, they want to see Uncle Sam getting less money, which we are pulling a lot of overtime. Now, to answer the second and third question of that, when it talks about compare my ideas with someone from another country and a field of study, a friend of mine, her husband is actually, he was born in Pakistan, but his family moved to England, where he was raised until he moved here to America 2 years ago to be with his wife. He is actually a lawyer from England. He hasn't taken the bar here in the US yet, but he has, and he is in the process of actually taking the bar. Now, I compared my thoughts to his. To be honest, his thoughts were more expansive than mine, to say the least. Again, he is a lawyer, so he is on the legal aspect where I'm on the business aspect, which granted, business still deals with some law. But he thought his feelings on compensation was you were being compensated from a legal standpoint for loss. That's where I was getting the loss stuff at the beginning, because he is an attorney. But him as a person, he stated that compensation to him was seeing a return on his own growth. He was being compensated and provided the knowledge and expertise that he needed to complete his job to help people. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to help people when they were injured or they were wrongly terminated and they needed to be compensated for their loss. That's what drove him to become a lawyer. Is a family member of his was injured and they never received any compensation. They fought and fought and fought in court and they never got anything out of it. The only thing they got was legal fees and wasted time. So that's what pushed him to become an attorney.